I first started illustrating about 10 years ago with two projects that are very similar to what we have here today. The first one was a collaboration with a friend of mine who's a playwright. He wanted to start a blog in which we were explorers of a fictitious world. I would draw creature mashups based on a bunch of different animals, and he would write these short articles, almost like Wikipedia articles, about us as if we'd seen this in the wild. I used to draw when I was younger, but I was dissuaded at some point and went on to study writing in English, and it wasn't until this playwright got me drawing again to do this project that I really started taking it seriously. And from there, I tried to get more gigs, and my first gig was actually a coloring wall for a historic farmhouse in Prospect Park, Brooklyn. So I love the thrill of being paid to do art and what I love, and I was hooked. So from then on, I tried to do every single drawing thing I could imagine, from coloring books. I drew house portraits for people. I did little art projects where I made figurines of local celebrities and boxes for them. Anything that I could do that was art related to make money, until eventually I went to grad school and decided to make it my career. The main things that appeal to me about illustration is that it's a form of visual communication. And I'm a very visual thinker, and I think I solve a lot of problems by drawing them out. So the combination of having a writing background, trained in narrative, and just thinking visually, it's sort of a natural fusion of the two things that I love. So any chance that I get to tell a story through art, I take, no matter what the form. Some of my favorite illustrators is a tough question, but at the moment, I've always loved Martin Handford, who did the Where's Waldo series. He was probably the first artist I ever looked at and said, I want to do that. Martin Handford is very similar. He is an Australian, I believe, who did all the buildings of New York. There is Art Spiegelman, did Mouse, comic book artist, is great. I love, not really an illustrator, but I would say a narrative artist is Jan van Eyck, the Netherlandish painter. I get a lot of inspiration from him. And there's just so many, dozens and dozens that I can't think of right now. Observation and taking in the world and taking mental notes about how things look, how people act, how things appear is always very helpful. And if you have a certain kind of art that you really love, copy it and integrate what you're learning into your own work. And you're going to grow in a lot of ways that you did not expect, and you're going to do things that, and come to love certain types of illustration that you never thought that you would, and also kind of veer away from things that you thought were your main focus. So being open and observing are probably the two things that I would say are most important. And that's a wrap.